The Israelites had done evil in the sight of the Lord, and because of this, God handed them over to the Midianites for 7 years. The Midianites were ruthless. Every year when Israel planted crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and people from the east would invade the land. They destroyed the harvest, killed livestock, and left Israel with nothing. The Israelites were reduced to hiding in caves, mountain clefts, and strongholds. They cried out to the Lord for help. God sent a prophet to them, reminding them that he had delivered them from Egypt and warned them not to worship the gods of the land. But Israel had not listened. One day an angel of the Lord came and sat beneath the oak tree in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite. Joash's son Gideon was there, threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites. The angel said to him, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon replied, "If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about? But now the Lord has abandoned us." The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" Gideon answered, "How can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." The Lord said, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive." Gideon asked for a sign. He prepared a young goat and unleavened bread, and placed them on a rock. The angel touched the offering with his staff, and fire rose from the rock, and consumed the meat and bread. Then the angel disappeared. Gideon realized he had seen the angel of the Lord and feared he would die. But the Lord said to him, "Peace, do not be afraid. You are not going to die." That night the Lord commanded Gideon to tear down his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Gideon obeyed, but he did it at night because he was afraid of the people of the town. In the morning, the people discovered the altar destroyed. They demanded Gideon be punished, but his father Joash defended him, saying, "If Baal really is a god, let him defend himself." From that day on, Gideon was called Jerubbaal, meaning, "Let Baal contend with him." The Midianites and their allies gathered again and camped in the valley of Jezreel. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, calling the Abiezrites to follow him. Messengers were sent throughout Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and an army gathered. Still unsure, Gideon asked God for another sign. He placed a fleece of wool on the threshing floor and said that if dew fell only on the fleece and not on the ground, he would know God was with him. The next morning, the fleece was wet with dew while the ground was dry. Gideon then asked for the opposite sign. That night, the ground was wet and the fleece was dry. God did not rebuke him. Early in the morning, Gideon and his army camped near the spring of Harod. The Lord said that the army was too large and that Israel would claim the victory for themselves. God instructed Gideon to send home anyone who was afraid. 22,000 men left, and 10,000 remained. But the Lord said the army was still too large. He told Gideon to take the men to the water and watch how they drank. Those who lapped water with their hands were separated from those who knelt to drink. Only 300 men drank by lapping from their hands. God told Gideon to send the rest home. That night, God told Gideon to go down to the Midianite camp. If he was afraid, he could take his servant Purah with him. Gideon went and overheard a Midianite soldier telling a dream to his companion. In the dream, a loaf of barley bread rolled into the Midianite camp and struck a tent, collapsing it. The companion said, "This can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon son of Joash. God has given Midian into his hands." When Gideon heard this, he worshipped God. He returned to his camp and prepared for battle. Gideon divided the 300 men into 3 companies. He gave each man a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch inside. He instructed them to surround the camp and wait for his signal. At the beginning of the middle watch, Gideon and his men blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and held up the torches. They shouted, "For the Lord and for Gideon!" The Midianite camp was thrown into confusion. the Lord caused them to turn on one another with their swords. The Midianites fled, and Gideon sent messengers to the tribe of Ephraim to cut off their escape. The princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb, were captured and killed. Gideon pursued the remaining Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna. Along the way, the towns of Succoth and Peniel refused to help his exhausted men. Gideon warned them he would return. He captured the two kings and punished the leaders of Succoth and tore down the tower of Peniel. Gideon then asked the Midianite kings where they had killed his brothers. When they answered, he executed them. The Israelites asked Gideon to rule over them as king, but he refused, saying, "The Lord will rule over you." However, Gideon requested gold earrings from the plunder and used them to make an ephod, which became an object of worship and led Israel astray. Gideon had many wives and 70 sons. After his death, the Israelites turned back to worship Baal and forgot the Lord who had delivered them from their enemies. And so ended the days of Gideon.